I don't know where he's at in Italy, but I'm jealous.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Italy is, I've never been. I hope I want to go to someday. It looks awesome.
Going next year.
Oh,
next year
nice.
is the year of me. After a wedding for one daughter last year, a wedding for another daughter this year, a grandchild this year, next year is my year.
Yeah, you deserve it.
I think I do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So it's time for the Dunch Rush, a.k.a. Aki's A-list.
The what?
Dunch, that's dinner and lunch. Brunch is breakfast and lunch. So we have the lunch rush. Now we have the Dunch Rush.
I call it linner. Combine lunch and dinner.
You would, you commie.
Yeah. You also cheer for...
I feel so bad for people that are just tuning in and have no idea what we're talking about.
Jack thought he was bringing something fun, fresh, different to the table, and now he's a communist.
Now he's a communist.
I mean, I Brenner, breakfast for dinner is Brenner. I feel like...
Those people are weird.
I like Brenner. What are you talking about?
You can have it like once in a blue moon.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, you have like...
Breakfast for dinner
you have like an omelet, pancakes.
No, that's for children.
That is.
That's
I'm
for
with you.
children.
I love it,
That's
dude.
just like ordering off the kids' menu.
Every once in a while, my wife will be like, great, wow. Like, I'm talking twice a year. My wife will be like, Brenner? I'm like, yep.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'll
Grow
eat
up.
pancakes.
That's right.
Pancakes at
Me,
all
what,
times, my
Brenner?
friend.
Yes, Brenner.
Pancakes at all
Chocolate
times.
chip, blueberry.
I will say this: the exception to that, chicken and waffles is not. I don't consider that to
That's
be
not breakfast. Yeah, that's not breakfast. By the
That's
way,
flexible.
Aki's A-List is brought to you by our fine friends at Circus Sports Illinois. Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Sports betting the way it should be.
All right,
Okay.
Aki's A-list.
What do you
All right,
got?
gentlemen, we had yet another list from ESPN with the execs and coaches, and they're all pulled up together to rank the safeties. The only one that appeared on the list was Jaquan Brisker, and it was in the receiving votes section. We also know that there was the PFF rankings from a week ago that had the Bears secondary listed as 19th best in all of football.
That's ridiculous.
Are we overrating the Bears secondary?
I think... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I think... Well, listen. If you go off with what the national media is saying, putting all of these lists together, right? Except for the one that Barnwell wrote yesterday, I believe, about the weapons, the running backs,
He
wide
had them at
receivers, tight ends.
six.
He had them at 6. Besides that, I'm not worried because I have my own opinions on the Bears, but I think that people would think that we are overrating the Bears, period. Like, all of the gambling websites have said take the under 8.5.
Yes.
Like, a lot of them are saying it's not the over is not a good bet. You're seeing, the offensive line was ranked 11th, which isn't great, but it's PFF, so their rankings are all over the place. But like more and more people are saying, like, there was a overrated, underrated. The Bears were on the overrated list on CBS Sports like a week ago, I believe. So I'm not wondering, but I think that the perception would be that we here are overrating the Bears as an entirety.
Well, this is why I've brought up their issues at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. Like, I am optimistic, but I'm also somebody that believes that they're playing the long game and doing it appropriately. That they're not trying to solve every problem immediately. It's almost impossible to do that. And when you do that, you find yourself at times that you sacrifice assets that can be beneficial to you in the long run for the here and the now. You make some financially questionable decisions as well. What they've done is they've protected their salary cap situation, and they've got a full complement of picks next year. So I don't believe they're a complete team right now. I do believe that they have upgraded their talent across the board significantly, but it's why I brought up the issue. I don't agree with Pro Football Focus's evaluation of their offensive line. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I don't believe that they have enough pass rush. Despite Montez Sweat being in the mix last year, and he added a ton to them, and I love him as a player, he went sackless the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not going to suggest sacks come in bunches a lot of times like interceptions do, but maybe part of it was also a product of teams looking at the Bears defense and saying there's only one guy that really threatens us in a pass rush, so we're going to throw 3 guys at him.
I love Montez Sweat, but he is
Can't do it by himself.
Well, but on one of those same lists, he was an honorable mention as a defensive end. I think Montez Sweat is fine. He's very good. I hesitate to call him great because I think he needs another good, like Yannick Ngakoue isn't great, right? they're both good, but if you put them together, they're both. You would have a great set of defensive ends,
I
right?
would say yes. I would say I think he's well above average player because I think he plays both the run and the pass exceptionally well. Not only is he an accomplished pass rusher, but he's really good at stopping the run. He's very disciplined. He will chase the play without compromising, the integrity of the defense at times. I just think he's a really good, solid player, but he needs someone on the other side of him.
Yeah.
So, like, when I look at this Bears team, people are like, oh, how can you not be? I am very optimistic, but also am realistic. As far as the safety rankings, look, I think Jaquan Brisker's a good player. I think that, he's very recognizable out there because he plays with a lot of swag, and he's a very vocal player, and he's a very, he's got good leadership quality. I think Kyler Gordon's a better player. I think Kyler Gordon, now they don't play the same position. Kyler Gordon is playing cornerback on the inside. I think that position is maybe one of the most underrated positions in football, considering how teams throw the ball now. And a lot of times what you try to do as an offensive coordinator is find mismatches. And in a lot of cases, some defenses will try to hide their third best cornerback inside. And Kyler's a fantastic player. I don't think that Jaquan Brisker is... I think he's viewed by the league about where he should be right now. If he has a really good 2024, he may rise on that list. But right now, I think he's rated appropriate.
You said they have a full complement of draft picks, too. We know Ryan Poles gets an itchy trigger finger, so maybe we see something. They also have an extra pick. They have the Panthers' second-round pick, so maybe we see something mid-season, too.
There's no doubt, and I think, again, that's one of the things that has had me very much excited about the approach. He's got money to spend because, remember, when you trade for some of these players, they bring a heavy salary with them. So not only do you have the currency to trade to add these guys or a guy, you also have the resources to pay that guy. Some people can't acquire someone like you're discussing because they don't have the space in the salary cap. So,
speaking of, you brought up the Montez Sweat ranking too, Adam, where he was in the honorable mention. Would you guys say that the Bears defense is a case of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts?
I would, yes.
Yeah.
I think TJ Edwards is a fantastic player that doesn't get the recognition for whatever reason. I think Tremaine Edmonds is a really good player that still, I think, can take his game to another level. I think Jack Sanborn plays his role appropriately, and I think the secondary works really well together.
Yeah.
Are they the best defense in the league? No, but I think it's a good way to describe them that as a unit, they play really well together.
I like it.
All right, the head coaching rankings that we were talking about a little bit earlier. One thing kind of caught my eye. Yes, Eberflus was ranked 26th. Obviously not a great standing to be in there. But the thing that caught my eye was the fact that there are two first-time head coaches that are ranked ahead of him. What do you guys make of that?
Well, I got yelled at for saying Harbaugh shouldn't be in the top whatever.
You'll get yelled at again.
But I'm not saying, Harbaugh's been a head coach in the league.
3
Raheem
trips
Morris
to an
has,
NFC title game.
Raheem Morris has been a head coach in the league. The two guys ahead of him, Dave Canales and Mike McDonald, have not been head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, I wouldn't have ranked them. I like it better when the lists exclude the new guys. I mean, you could throw Harbaugh in there because he's done it before, but I prefer to exclude the new guys because you just don't know anything. You don't know what they're going to be. Ranking quarterbacks and leaving the rookies out is the right move because you don't know what Caleb Williams is
I'm
going
with
to
you.
look like.
I don't know how you rate a first-time head coach ahead of, like you said, Harbaugh has an experience, has a resume.
Yeah.
I don't know how you rank a first-time head coach ahead of a guy who's done the job for a couple of years previously.
I think that the grade, I asked Tom Thayer what his grade would be. It's still, as of right now,
Mine's incomplete.
It can be an incomplete. I'd probably give him a solid B. Probably 2022 was awful. You can't hold that against him. They took everything away from him. You had it was not good. Last year, you came out of the gate horrible. And then you weren't ready to play at the beginning of the season, turned it around. The guys didn't quit on you. Okay, fine. But I still think that young coaches, he's not young, but you know what I mean, newer coaches can learn on the job. And if he doesn't make the same in-game mistakes that he was making in the last 2 seasons, then he can progress as a head coach.
What I would add to that is they've basically waved goodbye to at least 3 of his hires, right?
Well,
one of them
they had to.
Two of them. Two
Yeah,
of
two of
them
them they had
were,
to.
were let go for non-football related issues.
Yes.
The other was the offense coordinator.
Yeah.
Those decisions have to stick to him as well. So that's why I said incomplete. I don't blame 2022 on him because we know the direction of it. But for some of the other reasons, that's one of the grand mysteries to me still about this baseball team is just who is Matt Eberflus. I think he can continue to build positive momentum, but I'm not sitting here ready to say long term, definitely he's your answer.
No. He could not be the answer by the end of the season.
Right.
All right, Dak Prescott, no secret there that he wants a new contract. Tua Tagovailoa, also another one that is in the running for a new deal as well. Got me thinking, it doesn't feel like Dallas is in any sort of rush to get something done with Dak, and similarly with Tua, I would say the same thing is taking place there as well. Should Miami and Dallas look for a Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff type of trade to execute between each other?
Ooh. Well, they're not going to be bad enough to draft a good quarterback if they decide not to pay Dak.
I don't think either team will be bad enough to draft a guy.
They won't.
Are you saying they should trade for each other?
I think Miami would probably have to give up a little something extra, just like
So
LA
you're
had
saying
to give up a little something
Tua
extra.
for Dak?
And then
Yeah.
probably some picks going the other way to Dallas as well.
Yeah, I could see it. I think they both should just pay their quarterbacks. I think they should have paid Dak a year ago and not let this happen.
Look, it depends on. They traded Jerry Goff because Sean McVay, right or wrong, lost faith in Jared Goff. And once the head coach has lost faith in the quarterback, you have to move.
I don't think McCarthy's lost faith in Dak. I think that McCarthy might dip at the end of the season. He's already said that he's not a fan of the way Jerry Jones meddles and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's out there. So I
wouldn't be quick to pay either quarterback.
Then what do? You're
You
kind
got
of
to pay
stuck.
somebody. You got to have a quarterback.
Neither of them are bad enough.
Right. But with Tua, I'd probably, if he doesn't want a deal that would be fair, I'm not giving Tua a Trevor Lawrence deal. I'm just not.
No. I mean, but the market is what the market is.
I get it, but okay, so I would then go year to year with him potentially.
He's not going to do that.
Well, if you've put the franchise tag on him, what do you mean he's not going to do that?
Well, yeah, the franchise you have to, but I'm saying he's not going to take a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. Like,
of course
they
not.
want an extension. They want
I get
you.
it,
They
but
want security.
I'm not paying him what the other guys have gotten paid.
All right.
Well, couldn't Mike McDaniel maybe feel similarly as how Sean McVay felt about Jared Goff?
Could be.
I bet you McDaniel thinks that he can win with anybody.
The Dolphins roster's old, though. Do you really want to bring in, like, a 30-year-old quarterback after this season and basically pin your hopes on next year and still pay Dak? I mean, I don't know that I want a quarterback that's built to win now next year. I think the Dolphins' last chance might be this year. Tyreek Hill's 30 years old. I don't know how long those legs have left in them. Their whole line is old. Their defense is old. Like, this could be their last shot. And then
They've
at that
lost
point,
a lot
why are
of
you trading
pieces
for
too,
Dak?
Jack. They've lost pieces. Like, I mean, that defense, and they had to because of financial issues.
And then you can't give up picks at that point because then you need to keep those picks so you can rebuild the roster. I just don't see it happening.
I think they're two teams in a difficult situation. I would, if you made me choose between I think Dak's the better player. He's the older player, but I think Dak's a better quarterback than Tua.
Yeah.
Tua would also, but you know what I mean? He's another concussion away from not being around
I'd be less hesitant
anymore.
to give Dak a deal than Tua because of the injuries and because of the concussions.
You'd be less hesitant?
I'd give Dak a deal first before I gave Tua a deal.
All right, real quick, one more football one for you here. So at the American Century Championship, it's the celebrity golf tournament out in Lake Tahoe. Aaron Rodgers was caught on camera. Someone asked him saying something about reuniting with Devontae Adams, and he goes, "I love Devontae Adams. I can't wait to play with him again." What is more likely? Aaron Rodgers is a Raider or Devontae Adams is a Jet?
Devontae Adams is a Jet.
Devontae Adams is a Jet.
I don't think either is. I think that's Aaron Rodgers tweaking people.
Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
No, he's not 41, is he?
he's up there, man.
I think he is.
Is he?
I think he's that. Yeah. I saw something the other day and I was like, oh my God, that's right. He is. He's 40, turns 41 in December.
Wow.
40 years old. This is it for Aaron Rodgers. This is his last stop. I don't think he's a Raider. I think
Listen, if you're the Raiders, you're not going to win anything this year.
Yeah.
So if you could fleece the Jets in a trade, that's
well, it wouldn't
more
be
likely.
this year. Probably it'd probably be like a year or two down the line.
Well, then
I don't know if he's got a year or two left.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have this year and next year. I mean, he's 40. He's 41. He's going to be
What did
41.
Brady play till he was though? Like 45?
45?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers cares about the game the way Tom Brady cares about the game, though.
I think that is a fair statement.
Like the second the going gets tough, this dude's going to be living in Egypt.
Listen, if in fact they have a really good year, maybe he comes back for
He
another
might,
season. But
sure.
if they have something that's very modest,
You want to? If
he
you're
may,
the
he may
Jets,
pack it in sooner than Tom Brady ever
I
thought about it.
understand that he dictates policy, but if you're the Jets, do you want to go through a coaching search with Aaron Rodgers?
No.
He's gonna want to dictate policy.
Yeah, I think that I'm with you. I think this either works this year or that's the end of him. And
Or maybe he
New
is a
York.
Raider. Who knows? Maybe he could be. If that's the scenario.
Wouldn't that be funny? Tom Brady would technically be somewhat of his boss.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. That'd be fun.